Hello and welcome to the Wellness, Arts, and Military Podcast. We are on the road today at Zulu Event Center in Bothell. And we are here because a SAP grantee has taken D&D games to the next level. Let's go check it out. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
We are here at Zulu Event Center doing D&D games with...
Peter.
Sessum.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue around the room.
And Kevin Gaines.
Keegan Cruz.
Alex Dixon.
And today, what is going on in this D&D game specifically?
So today we are actually playing a homebrew adventure that I developed. I've been writing for a few years now.
Nice.
So they are actually coming across a moral decision on what they are going to do and who they are going to help. And what they have to do is either their decision or indecision, their action or inaction will have effects moving forward.
Nice. Is this what happens every game night, or is this something that happens, monthly? Is it different every time?
So for us, for this particular group, actually, I'm really kind of lucky to have a pretty regular group. We play weekly here at Zulu's Event Center and every Wednesday, but we actually alternate between adventures. We play this, homebrew, a made-up adventure that I created, I wrote, and then we also do a published adventure. We just finished Tomb of Annihilation, the hardest adventure in all of D&D, and they ran it as written. So a lot of people run it differently. I run a consequences-laden things. I am not a Candyland DM. This is not Halo on easy, so
that's right.
There were a lot of character deaths. And in the end, while they did end up, without getting any spoilers, they did end up defeating the death curse. They all did die. So they are heroes.
Martyrs, yes.
Yeah, so this is definitely Medal of Honor time.
That's right.
But the main thing is, for in the local D&D scene, they kind of get to brag about it.
Right.
Because they went against one of the hardest DMs in the area, and they technically won. They beat the scenario, but even though the characters lost their lives. However, it's not all bad. I did use the mechanic of the Adventures League, which is official kind of D&D, official organized play. We did use what they call the surrogate character mechanic. So if you die, you don't rip up your character sheet. So you pick up a tier appropriate new character, pre-generated character, and then you keep playing. And then you see if your original character's soul get devoured. And if you do, you lose some of those original rewards. So, and if you don't, then you get to basically bring them back. Yeah. So one person actually made it from level 1 all the way to the end. Did die at the end, but he never got his soul devoured. So he actually is the only one with the full level character that at the end. Some people joined in later, so they only get the levels that they earned towards the end from when they were there. We have a few people who did have their original characters die. They started the game, but they got their soul devoured, so they don't get their original character rewards, only what they had after one. So yeah.
And so these rewards, is that the satisfaction of the game? Why did you start D&D? Is it because of these rewards, or is it because of the community?
So, I started D&D, back in advanced D&D days. So, I actually had the basic D&D. I was playing in the 80s. So it's been a while. So, but then I had a break in service, and I actually came back to it because my wife started playing. My wife actually went to Geek Girl Con, which is a local convention, and they and every year she wanted to learn a new geek pursuit kind of thing. And one year was magic, but really with magic, she said that after the convention where they're happy to help you learn, people don't want to teach you; they just want to play. And so she was it was really hard to kind of get into it after that. So the next year she learned D&D, And that's when one of the tables was like, hey, we have a group. You want to keep playing? And they had like a bunch of tables that played. Adventure League is organized play, so there was like 12 tables that played at the same shop. And that was awesome. And it was fun. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to intrude on your little thing. And then after a few weeks, she said, actually, like, why don't you come and play and it'd be fun to us to do together. And then after that campaign ended, the next campaign was actually Curse of Strahd. So this is 2014, 2015. I then started DMing from then on. Nice. And then after a while, you become a forever DM. So, yeah. So Kevo and I actually met at the Everett Vet Center. Okay. And I was like, we're playing. I was running Out of the Abyss.
Oh, you had just finished Out of the Abyss, and you were getting ready to start Session 0 for Curse of Strahd, which is where I got to come in and join your tables. No, I started playing D&D back in the early 90s as a teenager too, and then like I fell away from it for a lot of years and didn't play it for close to 30. And then, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I was running a restaurant, and as I was leaving that position, one of my old coworkers invited me to like their weekend game. And I went down that rabbit hole ever since again. And so we went good, hard, and fast on this. And yeah, a year later, I meet Peter as I'm running Out of the Abyss, which he had run and had a ton of minis to help with. And it really just stepped my game up. And then it was like, well, this is a no-brainer, man. We need to put our heads together on this. So.
Yeah, and you did a lot of the painting throughout the process. So did you start that in the 90s too?
No, I really just got into this whole painting thing. Actually, it was during the Curse of Strahd game when my first character met his end, and it was poetic. I was playing a rabbit man wizard, so a Harengon, but like a man hybrid rabbit person, and he was eaten by a giant bird of prey, like a giant eagle. Man. And at the end of that night, I was just like, give me that mini. I'm going to paint the guy that killed me. And I did that, and now it's like I've fleshed out entire worlds with this. So, yeah, it's a big rabbit hole to go down.
That's amazing. And
actually, Curse of Strahd was actually basically funded by the WAM grant. So that was actually my second WAM grant. That what I did is so that was for 3D printing. So I got 2 new printers, one resin, one filament, and I designed the terrain for it. So I designed the terrain and I printed all the minis. And we were actually using it as helping. Like, actually, I had another vet that was actually helping me paint a lot of that stuff. So we got a lot of the minis painted. So I just had a ton of minis for it. So I designed the terrain, but I printed the minis, printed the terrain, painted it all, and then ran it. And I was going to run it for veterans. And then after it was all done, I then donated it to the Student Veterans Club at University of Washington. Nice. So they knew it was coming. Yeah. So that was something really cool, that I could just not just do that for myself and run that for veterans, but also pass it on down. That rock, that giant eagle that killed him, sat on top of a shelf at UW, and people would look at it like, what is that? Right. It was this big painted mini, and then they were like, that kind of drew some attention. So
what does it mean to do this with veterans? Why is it important to you?
Honestly, I mean, so I love playing D&D with vets, just because there's a different outlook, but also it's great to be able to that social time is fantastic, but the real thing is there's a skill set there that we don't get to use anymore. And I love when that light clicks on with vets. When, normally it's like, oh, you go meet a tavern owner and they're going to say, here's, oh, these farms are being attacked. Can you go search, go check this out? And it's like, okay, this is the warning order. That's what it is. And it's like, they have those skills. And they're like, oh, we're going to go check out this cave system. And it's like, immediately, it's like, okay, who's our sneaky person? Okay, you go recon. And they go and they come back. All right, cool. We talk about it. What are our resources? All right, here's how we're going to attack. And then they set up a plan and they go and execute the plan. And it's so great to see how, even though we use minis on a board, so things are moving around, being able to see them interact, but also use
stretch that tactical muscle, man. It is stretching that tactical mind that we've all been trained how to use, and then to be able to sit down and use it in a safe environment where we can do it in polite company with people who maybe didn't go to war.
Right.
That's pretty cool to be able to cross that bridge, right? And to bring that mentality into a safe and cool place where you're playing a game, and at the end of the night, we're gonna go home and be friends and have a great time. So
and like you mentioned, like the previous game where in the end everyone kind of ended up martyrs, but you in this game it's still a safe space to then go and risk it all.
Yeah, I mean, so generally dying, like literally dying as heroes is not always how it goes, but that was also a very hard one. But I mean, my first MOS in the Army was infantry, and I watching vets like kind of get back in that mode, and they're using movement to contact, and then when things don't go, no plan survives a first contact intact. But watching how things move around the battlefield, or the battle map, and immediately they're making adjustments, and they're still communicating, and they're moving, and I love watching that, and I love watching how vets engage in that. So I mean, I've actually been running or playing on tables that are with the vets for half a dozen years now. I actually had a DM that ran just a table just for us vets, and it was so awesome just how it worked and how it gelled and how everybody. It wasn't just a social thing, but it was also like kind of using that skill and releasing that. You could actually see people come out of that relaxed. Yeah. And now with this year's the 2025 WAM grant, so Kevo and I were collaborating, and I was like, you need to get on this. So he got the grant to help paint, and then I got for mine was to help. Well, one of the questions is, how do you help your community? What's your community and how are you going to help it? And I was like, well, veterans are my community. And so I was like, how am I going to help get this out there? So
you just got an email, or was it a text message?
An email. So we contacted, so we're in contact with 4 different vet centers. So Spokane, Walla Walla, Yakima, and Bellingham are 4 vet centers that we reached out to. 2 of them did not have a D&D program. 2 of them already did. And D&D is actually used as a therapeutic tool. There's critical care is actually a program that actually mental health practitioners can get certified in to use D&D as a tool. And they use it in either group therapy or even like family therapy. There's a group out of Tacoma that actually we actually provided some stuff that I met at a local convention. I'm like, well, I have a bunch of extra stuff. Here you go. Awesome. And she used they use that for their therapy. But Bellingham had no D&D program. But their director, Lynn, was like, yeah, I'm interested. And it was fantastic. And so I went up and talked, and I had basically what was about the size of a thick textbook, the starter set. And I was like, here's what I can give you. It's this, which I'd actually received for being the DM at a recent convention. And then I was like, and I'm going to print maps because that's what the grant gave me, and then also gave me money for resin. So I'm going to print some minis, and we'll get them painted, and we'll deliver these to you. And it would have been enough to basically fill about the size of a thick textbook, right? And that was it. And then I reached out to a friend of mine who's really involved in Dungeons and Dragons, and he's actually credited as a coordinator, an adventure coordinator on some of the modules. And I was like, and last I knew, he was actually working at the VA. I was like, okay, he's a vet, and he knows all about D&D. I'm like, hey, I'm right before the money hit. I was like, hey, can I pick your brain about these? He's like, yeah, sure. Like, let's get on a Zoom, let's get on a Teams meeting. I was like, sure. And then we did, and I was talking to him. He's like, do you know where I work now? I'm like, no. He's like, I'm at Wizards of the Coast, people who make D&D. So he's like, come on up. And come down and bring a cart. And so Kevin and I went, and I had one of those like little expandable carts you get for like picnic stuff. And he was like, that's not been enough. Yeah. So we packed out the back of my SUV with stuff that they donated, that Wizards provided in their great generosity. And so next time when we actually went to deliver things to Bellingham, it wasn't 25 minis and about a shoebox worth of stuff. It was 250 minis and 40 maps and $500 worth of books and kit, starter sets and kits and all that kind of stuff. So it was, if they would have had to buy that retail, it probably would have been $1,000 because minis are $2.50 a piece. So, and they just, so it was the epitome of, under promise, over deliver. It was crazy. Yeah. And we didn't paint everything. So they get to use these as for their art therapy, for people get to paint some of the minis for the adventures. They have some stuff. The starter set is all painted. So they're actually using that to check out to vets that can take that and play it and bring it back, and kind of like a library. The hardest thing is getting people together. In D&D, that's the scheduling is the nightmare. They have 7 players right now that are playing. They have a bunch more to start another table. They're recruiting another DM. They're running games every other week. They have a great program up and running, and what they're going to do in the future is just it is more than what I dreamed would come out of this, what I was hoping. And it has everything to do with the fact that I was able to collab with Keva to help paint a lot of the stuff. It had to do with Wizards donating stuff, and just everyone was just enthusiastic and wanting things to happen. So it's fantastic.
It's amazing. And where do you see the future of this going?
Not even just the future, but like where it's at right now, it blows me away. This is not what I was expecting to see happen. And it's crazy to be able to take, painted minis down to a vet center, and they get to see the thing and see the eyes light up. But it was more rewarding for me to then bring blank minis in that same package. And then they immediately spitball the idea of, we can use this for art therapy. We can do this thing for this and this and that. And then it was just like, well, man, here I'm thinking we might be dropping the ball, not doing enough. But really all you got to do is that little bit, and the vets will meet you halfway. Yeah. They'll come across the aisle and come help pick this thing up. And so, what started as just like one vet with a dream and then 2 vets playing a game together is really grown. And now we've got 4 vet centers that are getting outfitted with our stuff. A place down in Tacoma that's doing it with the critical care stuff. A couple of student veteran groups at colleges and things, and room for expansion. So, I don't want to put a mile marker on it because I think we'll blow it out of the water. I think if I said, we're going to get this far, we'll do twice that with the amount of support we have. So,
well, the next step, honestly, is we already have the employee ID numbers. We're filing for a nonprofit because there's too much. I mean, that's just it. Like, if we just get a few thousand a year, that's enough to keep us in filament and resin to keep printing and providing for just even if it's just the groups that we have supported. But why not be able to set this up at a group at local VFWs or American Legions, where they can they can have people come in and do it. I mean, and that's just when we're only talking about veterans. I mean, getting together and doing if it's just the nonprofit, so that we can keep applying for grants. I would love to keep doing this. And I mean, honestly, so this is my 3rd WAM grant. So I'm 3-peat. But honestly, and it all came because Brian came up to the Everett Vet Center and talked to in the art therapy group there. So really, he gets all the credit for introducing me to that. It has given me for 4 months out of the year, I have a lot of focus of what to do.
It helps fund this sort of purpose that we've generated for ourselves without the money, right? So we didn't have it. We just wanted to help some other veterans play a game that we've really enjoyed playing. We've done what we can to make it accessible to people, and then to have that sort of funded a little bit, to be able to get something out of it, to paint a bunch of minis or to print the maps and design the thing, but then to have an end use for that I know it'll go and live on, to leave that legacy is huge.
That's amazing.
So.
Yeah, because art's not just finger paints. But the other thing is, this went from, me being able to improve, because I do get to improve my own art and how to do, either 3D, when I was 3D modeling, or how to make my own maps kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But now that, we're helping, dozens of veterans That even if it's just the socializing, that's amazing.
Right,
and getting them together, yeah. But the other thing is like, what can we do from here? So, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I have another pitch in me. I know that.
Yeah, no, that's
I'll
Congratulations, both of you.
I have an idea for another WAM grant. My next one is writing, and I want to write and publish my own adventure, my own campaign.
Well, we're doing the dry run on that right now. That's sort of tonight's...
I know, I was about to ask, how do you feel about tonight?
So I'm actually excited because these Chaos Goblins are probably going to break the world. But these are the best kind because none of them are intentionally trying to break scenarios, but they come up with really creative ideas and workarounds, which is great. Instead of the people who are always trying to break the scenario, oh god, I hate those people. They're so annoying. So like there are people who do not last long. These guys have been getting kicked in the teeth since October in the hardest dungeon ever, and they're still here. So kudos to them, and knowing that it'll never be that hard. But also, again, I have a reputation as being the most lethal dungeon master in the local area. A TPK stands for Total Party Kill. Actually, the guy my main dungeon master who taught me 5th edition has said that I have more TPKs than all DMs he knows combined. So
People still keep coming.
well, no, they don't.
Oh, they don't.
Some people don't.
Well, a select few don't, but some of us enjoy the challenge though, and that's why I like playing at your table. Is that you'll hold the standard, and so like if I'm getting a little disheartened in a moment, we're gonna get through this moment. Yeah. I might die in this moment. That happens to a hero sometimes in these games. Right. You got to be prepared for that and for loss. But outside of that, I'm the kind of guy that played a game on hard mode.
Yeah.
I grew up in Generation Game Genie, and I hated that device. I hated being able to just pull all the stops out and you could just be good at everything. No, the only way to get good at something is to be terrible at it for a really long time.
And learn.
Practice makes you better at a thing, right? And so if you play things on the hardest mode, man, it makes a better challenge and it makes you a better player. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. You make better players at your table than other tables will bring.
How are you feeling then tonight?
Oh, I'm ready to do it. We were talking on the chaos that is coming in here, and I like the chaos of dice rolling and that, and just sort of the dice are the great deciders. So everything Peter wrote for this game is down in paper already, and we've played with him enough times to know that he's not against us. Yeah. We're gonna live with the decisions we made and what the book that he wrote down said happens. Nice. I rolled this and X happens. Yeah.
I try to be. I actually consider myself neutral, so I'm not for you. I'm not against you. If all things are equal, I let it. I roll it okay. If everyone's equal distance apart, I'll roll to see who gets attacked. Rather than if you get up close, okay, they're gonna attack whoever close. There's a book called The Monsters Know What They're Doing, and I actually let that kind of drive it a little bit, so that because I have the tactical mind, I can win every fight. I control the universe. Of course I can win. Yeah. But that isn't what it's about, because it's about collaborative storytelling, and that's what I want to do. Now, there are people who want to be superheroes in plot armor. They will never like my table. There are people who want to play Halo on easy or play with cheat codes. You will never like my table. Yeah. That's fine. There are TikTok videos that have broken builds that don't actually work with the rules. There are people who love that kind of stuff. Great. There is no wrong way to play D&D. They're just the wrong people to play with. And I'm not that person. Yes. If you want a good, challenging game, because I'm going to tell you, everyone on my table right now, they can go and talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. Anybody, we beat Tomb Annihilation. When somebody else says, oh, we did too, but did you? Yeah. No, you didn't. But you put on God mode. That doesn't count. Got it. Your guy kept, your DM kept bailing you out. That doesn't count. We did it. Yeah. Keegan, who's very new to D&D, second campaign, character campaign. Until the absolute end boss fight against one of the hardest bosses ever, and after having all of his resources taxed, heroically died at the end, ending the death curse. Cool.
Was that the world's smallest violin?
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
He can brag about that, right? Like,
Right.
he made it to that. And his character did not die up until that.
Yeah.
So he came in a little bit later, but he made it throughout the entire Tomb of the Nine Gods without dying.
So the crew here was also at that last one.
Yes.
Got it.
3 of us anyway.
All 3.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So so that so they survived all of that.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean it's
That's awesome.
it's tough. So they actually do get to brag about it, because in a sense, I mean they did beat me in that. They just got to a point where you can't stop a tidal wave.
Exactly.
So but
I guess a question for the rest of the crew: why do you guys keep coming back? You know, it is a challenging D&D game. So, like, being here tonight, how do you feel about it, and why do you keep coming back to these?
It's fun, and I want to beat Peter. No. Yeah, really, it's just fun. No matter if it's tough, if it's an easy day, if it's just combat, if it's just, talking to people, making decisions. Whether we make the right decision, that's debatable. But, it's fun either way. You want to play it.
Yeah.
I personally really like the challenge myself that Peter gives us and everything for that, and also it's just fun playing with Peter in general. Like whether he's a player or running the game, he always makes it interesting and a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Stockholm Syndrome.
It's always great to play with. This sounds like an awesome crew. Well, I know that we're going to the game is probably going to start soon. So I just want to say congratulations again on this SAP grant cycle and what you have done with it. Is there any last words that the two of you have?
I mean, there are no bad rolls, only bad dice.
honestly, I'm just grateful for the opportunity that Artswell gave us to be able to do this. I'm glad that in the 3 years of doing this, I've actually been able to tell other people about it. So there's 3 people that have this grant this time that I know. 2 of them that I told about it. Last time it was a couple other people. So I think it's great that what we're doing, what's coming from this. I think it's great that the legislature's set aside money for this, because it is doing a lot more good than just a few vets finger painting. It's actually the ripples that are coming from this, with all the vets that are doing this in different vet centers, and that are that they're getting to socializing, they're getting to play, they're getting to get together, they're getting able to scratch that itch of these skills that they have that don't get used otherwise. Like, there's so much that comes out of it, and there is a therapeutic benefit of D&D, and the fact that they're getting that's kind of getting out there, and we're able to share that is just amazing. And I love that the ripples that are coming from this little grant that's like a drop in the bucket to the to the budget, but what's coming from it is amazing, and I'm just grateful for that.
Well, thank you so much to both of you for hosting this, and good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo!
All right.